Welcome to Real Life Stories. What if I told you that the greatest battle ever fought was not just about kingdoms, power, or victory, but about the war inside a human heart? A war between duty and emotion, between right and attachment, between fear and truth. This is not just an ancient story. This is your story. On the vast plains of Kurukshetra, beneath a sky heavy with anticipation, two great armies stood facing one another. The ground trembled under the weight of thousands of warriors, chariots lined in perfect formation, flags fluttering like restless spirits in the wind. The sound of conch shells echoed across the battlefield, deep and powerful, announcing that destiny itself was about to unfold. At the heart of this moment stood a warrior unlike any other, Arjuna. His bow, Gandiva, had never failed him. His courage was known across kingdoms. And yet, on this day, something felt different. Beside him, holding the reins of his chariot, was Krishna, calm, composed, and quietly observing the storm within Arjuna. Arjuna took a deep breath and said, "Krishna, take me to the center of the battlefield. I want to see those who stand against me." Without a word, Krishna guided the chariot forward. The wheels rolled slowly between the two armies until they reached the very heart of the battlefield. And there, time seemed to pause. Arjuna looked ahead, and what he saw shattered him. These were not strangers, not enemies. They were his own teachers who had guided him, friends he had grown up with, cousins, elders, men he respected, men he loved, standing on both sides, ready to kill or be killed. His grip weakened. The mighty Gandiva slipped from his hands. His voice trembled. "Krishna, how can I fight them? What kind of victory is this, if it demands the blood of my own family?" His chest tightened. His vision blurred. "I see no good in this war. Even if we win, what will remain? Empty thrones? Broken hearts? I would rather lay down my weapons than raise them against those I love." And with that, the great warrior, Arjuna, conqueror of kings, collapsed into his chariot, overwhelmed by sorrow. Krishna looked at him, not with judgment, but with deep understanding. In the silence of that battlefield, he finally spoke. "Arjuna, your pain feels real, but it is born from confusion. You are seeing only what is temporary, and forgetting what is eternal." Arjuna slowly lifted his gaze. Krishna's voice was steady, almost timeless. "The soul is not born, and it does not die. Weapons cannot cut it. Fire cannot burn it. Water cannot drown it. It is beyond destruction." A gentle breeze passed across the battlefield, as if the world itself paused to listen. "You grieve for those who do not need grieving," Krishna continued. "Bodies may fall, but the soul moves on, just as a person changes worn-out clothes for new ones." Arjuna's breathing slowed, but doubt still lingered in his eyes. Krishna leaned slightly forward. "And yet, even beyond this truth, there is your duty." The word hung in the air. "You are a warrior, Arjuna. You were born to stand for justice. If you turn away now, not out of wisdom, but out of fear, you abandon your purpose." Arjuna shook his head. "But how can I act when my heart is torn like this?" Krishna's eyes softened. "Because you are attached, not to action, but to its outcome." The wind picked up again, carrying dust across the battlefield like whispers of fate. You think of victory and defeat, gain and loss, pleasure and pain, and in doing so, you bind yourself to suffering. Arjuna listened, silent now. "Let go of this attachment," Krishna said. "Do your duty, but do not cling to the results. Stay balanced, whether you succeed or fail. That balance is true strength." For the first time since the chariot had stopped, Arjuna's trembling began to ease. But a question still remained. If wisdom is greater, then why act at all? He asked. Why not walk away from all this? Krishna smiled faintly, as though he had been waiting for that very question. Because action is unavoidable. He gestured toward the armies, the sky, the earth itself. No one can remain without action, not even for a moment. Life itself is action. Breathing, thinking, choosing. It never stops. Arjuna listened more carefully now. "So the question is not whether you act," Krishna continued, "but how you act." The sounds of distant drums rolled across the field. If you act with selfish desire, with thoughts of what will I gain, you become trapped by your own actions. But if you act selflessly, for a higher purpose, you become free. Arjuna's eyes narrowed slightly, absorbing every word. "Perform your duty," Krishna said, "not for reward, but because it is right." A pause followed, deep, powerful. "Even I continue to act," Krishna added quietly, "not because I need anything, but because the world follows the example of those who lead." The weight of those words settled heavily in the air. Krishna's tone grew more intense. "But there is something else you must understand, Arjuna. The true enemy is not standing before you in armor." Arjuna looked up sharply. "It is within you." A sudden stillness fell. Desire and anger, Krishna said. They arise from selfishness. They cloud your judgment. They consume your mind. And they lead you away from truth. Arjuna clenched his fists slightly. They are like fire, Krishna continued. The more you feed them, the stronger they grow. The battlefield, once filled with noise, now felt distant, almost unreal. Control your senses, Krishna said. Master your mind. Rise above these impulses. Only then can you see clearly and act rightly. Arjuna closed his eyes for a moment. The fear was still there, but something else had begun to rise within him. Clarity. Slowly, he opened his eyes again. The battlefield hadn't changed. The armies still stood ready. The war was still inevitable. But Arjuna was no longer the same. He picked up his bow once more, not out of anger, not out of pride, but with a quiet understanding. And as the sun climbed higher over Kurukshetra, the moment of hesitation faded into history, because the greatest battle was never just between two armies. It was within the heart of a single warrior. And in that moment, Arjuna had begun to win. If you like the video, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.